Hey everyone, I'm Lenka, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm taking you on a very special journey back to my childhood, from the apartment where I lived to my aunt's theater across the street. It's been 30 years since I last visited this building. It used to be both an art gallery and a theater, and now it has transformed fully into an art gallery, and at the moment it's hosting an exhibition called Uncertain Homes. Let's go explore. It feels surreal to be back here. I remember the hustle and bustle of the theater, the laughter, the performances. One of the most popular and hilarious plays was called Stories of Long Nose, based on the limericks of Edward Lear. It started right here in the lobby, and people were standing around and up the staircase, and the actors carried a very long nose up the stairs. The theater was in a single big room here upstairs. No, it can't be it. Not this one. I forgot. Yes, it was on the other side. Here it is. This space. Ready? I just want to say that I haven't been to this place for, 40 years or less, but since 1993, it stopped being the theater where I basically grew up, which my aunt Eva Talska founded together with her two schoolmates, and it's across the street of the home where I grew up till 6 years of age. And so this is the place. Now it's open, the windows are open, and everything was closed, and this was the theater space where people were sitting around or in the middle, and the performance was going around everybody or in the middle of everybody, or the audience was on one side and on the other side, and those columns, they used them a lot. There was a curtain. We were coming from over there on the right, inside. It's surreal for me to see it like this after so many years. Now there is a new theater downtown on Cabbage Square, Zelený trh, which is center of experimental theater. This was one of the first experimental theaters in the country. It was founded in 1968. Here is a plaque on the floor which says exactly the time when it was founded and the time when it moved to the other place, which is great, beautiful, newly built, and so on. But this is where it all started, and all the big stars of Czech theater and movies started here, many of them.
Do you have any names, for example?
The name of the famous people: Bolek Polívka, Dáša Veškrnová, which became a wife of President Havel, Miroslav Donutil. These three are Iva Bytová, which became a famous violinist, but she was an actress here, and I remember them all downstairs with her sisters, Ida, and so on. So this is where I kind of grew up. I almost played in one of the plays as a child, but in the end it didn't happen, and that's fine. But I was here as a teenager, and I saw most of the plays ever. And it started many times in front of the theater, which is also exhibition hall, and the performance went on the stairs up to here.
Very historical place.
Yes, it's a very historical place. And the years before the Velvet Revolution in 1989, 87, from maybe 1987 to 1989, there were performances which were called Rozlazel, and people were coming here to see, to hear a little bit of criticism of the communist regime. So we were here waiting for the hints from the actors, and it was actually dangerous. And I also want to say that my grandfather, Eva's father, was kind of a protecting hand in the authorities of the city. He worked in the cultural department as the head of it, and he protected the theater. And so they were able to play all those years freely, and also they were able to go abroad and play performances in Western Europe, which we couldn't go.
He also helped save some of Mucha's paintings?
Yes, he also saved Alfon Mucha's epopee, Slavic Epic, which was, he found, or maybe he didn't find it, but when it was found after Second World War, it was in a church in Moravsky Krumlov in bad conditions, and he saved it, and later it was exhibited. Those are huge canvases, as big as the whole wall here, which he painted to celebrate the Slavs, the history of the Slavs and the Czech history. My aunt directed some incredible plays, including a memorable one about the circus called Death and a Horse with Me. Clowns have always been in my life because of the theater, and it's no wonder they inspire my art. I even used a piece of the stories of Long Nose in our high school graduation party, and I played a clown, of course. This is my latest clown painting, a part of my ongoing clown art series. It reflects the joy and whimsy I experienced in the theater as a kid. This is my Pierrot, a French clown. But before I show you as usual my painting process, let's go to the park behind the gallery. This was my playground as a child. I remember sledding down the hill next to the theater, and I hit my chin. I still have the stitches to remind me of that ride. Yes, even at 60, I carry that memory with me. Next comes the opera house, where I used to go as a child for ballets and operas. And I also later worked there one theater season, cleaning the enormous stage while studying English for state exam. It was hard work, but I loved every moment I spent in this magical place. Back to clowns and my sad Pierrot. I chose watercolor brush and a fine liner from Procreate brushes. I have never learned how to use watercolors properly, so I keep trying. This clown comes out like an illustration because of the faded colors. I don't know where I got this color palette from. I probably created it, and so I wanted to see what I will do with it. I decided to omit the black outlines for the final artwork because I wanted it more like a painting than illustration. This Pierrot is probably female, in love of course, and instead of bubbles, it blows out hearts because that's where her heart is, focused on her unfulfilled love. I wanted everything to be in pastel colors, but watercolor in Procreate is quite pale, and I realized I needed more contrast because Pierrot is so bland as for colors. It was not a quick painting like my previous clown one. It took over 8 hours of work. I always want to do something loose and end up with going into details. It needs practice to get loose. I quite like the result. It is different from the previous clowns, and maybe because Pierrot is a delicate character, I think I chose these less vibrant colors. Now let's wrap up this nostalgic journey to the past at a coffee house where I used to visit with my family. Today I'm sitting in a coffee place where I used to go with my grandmother, Zemanova Kavarna, with my grandmother and family when they came to Brno to see us. And I'm drinking my green tea, and I hope it's strong enough. It doesn't look like that, with milk and sugar. It's these little moments that remind us of our roots and the people we loved. I hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane as much as I did. Thank you for joining me in this second part of my clown art series. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share your own nostalgic memories in the comments below. Until next time, keep exploring and creating.